Hey, welcome all of you Taurus Sun natives and those of you who love the Tauruses in your life or just interested to learn about the Native American birth totems. We are here to do your solar return read and dive into your Native American birth totem, Taurus, which is the Beaver. And this is for any Taurus native sun, okay? This is very specific for sun sign only, and we're going to just dive right into it and get a look at your year ahead. I want to wish you a very blessed up solar return. May your trip around the sun be full of lots of sweet surprises and a lot of beauty coming onto your path, as well as blessings. And I just wish you all the best. So your turn up for this read, and I love sharing this here on the channel, and I've been really enjoying just seeing come up in the feed all of the different shorts for just awareness around Native American culture. And so I love bringing in this piece here at Broad Coven and sharing a little different lens to look at the different signs through. Okay, so Beaver is the totem for Tauruses born April 20th through May 20th. And you are east on the medicine wheel for your direction. And your protective spirit is Wabun, east wind. So anytime that you feel like you need direction or protection in your life, you should face the east and call on those east winds for guidance and inspiration, and it will really connect you with your birth medicine. Your element is earth, and your power stone or mineral is jasper. In some tribes, they view it as chrysolite, so it just depends. You could work with either. You can also include a piece of this mineral in like a little medicine bag that you wear on your person, and it can give you strength, it can give you grounding. Also, your plant ally is the wild clover or red clover, and you were born during the birth moon of Frog's return moon. So frog medicine very much coming in for you, connected with you. Frog is a medicine of spiritual cleansing, and you may find a lot of peace and a lot of healing if you can tune in to that frog song that comes in that little twilight space right at the point when the sun is starting to go down. This could be a very balancing time for you. Also, maybe would be a really wonderful ritual for you, just a daily meditative ritual to cleanse yourself of the day's experiences and into the restful time of night. If you tune into that frog song and you just allow the day to be sort of washed away, cleansed away, all the experience you had, anything that you're wanting to release at that time, let it just go down with that evening sun, and you know, allow yourself to open up to the guidance that wants to come in for you. In terms of compatibility, you're compatible with Snow Goose, which is Capricorn, Snake, which is Scorpio, and actually Snake is a real ally for you to help you learn about the powers of transformation, transmutation, shedding old skins, because Beaver can tend to be a little fixed, a little set in their ways. And so to really embrace the new can be a challenge for them, okay? So, you know, turn to your snake friends, your Scorpio friends to assist you with that. And if you happen to have a strong Scorpio placement in your chart, then you're already familiar with this and learning how to kind of balance out these polarities. Wolf is also an ally, which is Pisces, Woodpecker, which is Cancer, and Bear, which is Virgo. So all of these are allies on your path and give you a lot of strength in your journey. And you'll probably find that these different birth totems gravitate a lot towards you, and they provide you a certain kind of camaraderie and also awareness on your path that maybe you don't find from other signs that you encounter. Now, when it comes to your birth totem, you definitely prefer predictable outcomes over trying things outside the box or going for innovation. Anything new kind of, sets your hackles up a little bit. And that's just because you prefer to go with what's tried and true versus sort of like taking a risk or a gamble. In fact, it takes you a long time to go there to try something new. But it's interesting because one of your purposes in this life is that you're here to open people's minds to new perspectives. So maybe, you'll find that you deal with a lot of people who are kind of fly by the seat of their pants, and you're there to provide a little grounding, a little reason, get people to think about the foundation of things and how they should sort of like protect their interests, because protection is also something that comes through for you very much so. You are very focused on security, and a lot of times you find security in your possessions, your material possessions. Now, when out of balance or more in the shadow aspect, there can be too much value placed on the possessions and sort of mistaking possessions as the root of happiness. And this is actually a distortion. It is something you kind of defer back to because you do look at practical, like what is showing up in your day-to-day reality as a marker of sort of the support you've shored up for yourself. And for you, that has a lot to do with the foundation, is my home secure? Are my finances secure? And sometimes when you need a little pick-me-up, you can be prone to a little shop therapy. It's something that is pretty common for your birth totem. In terms of love, you're very sensual and you definitely like your physical gratification, and you express yourself in that way. That is sort of your love language. And you definitely are somebody that is very focused. You're a strategist very naturally. You like to have a plan that you put into action. Again, you're not one to really take a lot of risks. And if you do take a risk, it's very well thought out. You don't just jump into anything willy-nilly. And that's why Snake can kind of assist you a little bit in shedding some of these resistances you have to trying new things or taking risks. Sometimes it's really important to take risks and not get into this place of stagnancy, where you're too focused on staying in your safety zone, because there is a lot of industriousness and creativity that can come through for you as well. And sometimes you keep yourself from really experiencing that side because you're so focused on security. It's really wild. A hawk just flew by the window. Hawk is associated with Aries, okay? So you might be dealing with an Aries. There might have been something really significant that came forward for you during Aries season. All right, this just as a message. There might be a message coming in from an Aries. And with that, I can't make it up. With that, a raven just flew by to the south. Okay, so the south is, associated with that serpent energy. Okay, it is associated with that area of transformation. And the raven is associated with Libra. Okay, so these characters might be playing a role. And I also feel this is really speaking to the North Node and South Node right now. We got Aries in the North Node, Libra in the South Node. And so I feel like this is a very important trip around the sun for you. There's something that you're closing up karmically, right? Closing a very important karmic cycle, and you're preparing to really activate your destiny, I feel. You might need some help from some of your snake friends, or if you have Scorpio in your chart, really pull on your Scorpio energy, because this can really assist you with the kind of transformations you're going to be going through this year. I feel like you're definitely going to be shedding some old skins, there's some outdated beliefs, maybe places where you've had very fixed identity, fixed ideas, set plans where you're needing to shake things up a little bit. You're needing to be a little bit more flexible, maybe be a little bit more daring, not so focused on security. It's a bit outside of the box for you, but I don't think that that came in for no reason. Everything has a purpose in a read. And certainly, especially when I'm doing a read like this, I tap into what's going on outside my window here, because there's so many messages that come in from the natural world. All right, so, you know, this is going to be an interesting year, it seems like. And I did have one card come out here, so let's have a look at this. Sky, breath. All right. So I feel like this is this moment where you just need to like take a pause, take a breath. Remember to breathe, okay? You might be preparing yourself to bring something into manifestation, 11 on the clock. So I do feel that this year, something really potent is coming into alignment for you. And I do think there's something that's manifesting in your life that you've been calling in for a while. It does require you to step into your power with that 8 energy. This is a little bit of making heaven manifest on earth. You're pulling down that energy from Father Sky and you're rooting it in Mother Earth. So this is like a dream. It's a vision that you're actualizing and you're preparing to step into. It was 11:33 on the clock. You're coming into alignment with something that is seriously a building block for your future. And I feel it's also helpful, travelers on the road, that you're heading down toward that destiny, okay? So do look for allies, new faces, new places, 11:55 on the clock. So there's going to be some change. You are wrapping up an old cycle, and it does require that you step into the new. And so I feel like at times this may fill you with a little anxiety. It may make you feel a little nervous because you're really used to kind of staying in your safe space, you know. You think of beavers and they're very industrious, you know, they're always like creating their dams and they're very hard workers. They're very focused. And when they know what they want to do, you know, they set to it. They don't waste any time and they stay very much on task. But this, I feel, is something that's coming on your path. It's a bit different. It was 12:33 on the clock. So 333, a lot of help on hand, okay? Look for a lot of allies to start to come onto your path. People who see your vision, people who understand where you're going and they want to be part of it. They want to collaborate with you, okay? This could be coming together with the right community, the right groups of people, and you're working together synergistically. 13 on the clock, all right? So there's something you're really rooting and you're stabilizing here, and it also puts you in your power. Now, at first, it may come through as what seems like maybe a little bad luck on the surface, but that's only because it's moving outside of your comfort zone. If you just really allow yourself to step into this 1322, you're going to realize how much it brings you into alignment and maybe even into alignment with a special certain someone. But I feel like this is where you're at right now with 8 Sky. You're in this place of just the pause before everything breathes life into this vision. And you're getting yourself steadied here. So let's see. Give me some details about this vision that's being activated for Taurus, the Beaver, in their solar return year here. What is this vision? So I feel like you might also get a lot of inspiration just from connecting with the sky energy too. You know, sometimes you can feel more ease in moving into that expansion if you sort of grok that sky energy a bit. You know, you look into the sky and it's just limitlessness, you know, and I feel like the sky is the limit for you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you've stayed in a, you know, a box for a while. It's felt very safe. It's felt secure. But you're being asked to move beyond that. You're being asked to move into a place of expansion with that sky energy. Air signs might be beneficial to you as well in this journey. There might be something to kind of take a playbook cue from air signs, as well as fire signs here and water signs. Okay, we got some allies showing up here. Yeah, so do look for these people to come in, and there's Earth right there. I see it. You're going straight up to your north node. So you're definitely activating a vision, and it is your destiny. you're transforming a hand of fate and you're spinning it into destiny here. So again, really rely on that energy of the serpent, helping you really understand how to enter that place of transformation with grace and just letting go, letting what doesn't serve you anymore fall away. Also letting the scales shed from your eyes so you can really see things as they are. There really is nothing to fear here. It's everything that's breathing life into your future, and it looks really beautiful. Okay, so I do see that, with that Scorpio energy, they can really help you nurture what you want to grow here, as well as bringing in any kind of wolf family you have around you associated with Pisces. And also, I think of those houses. So when I think of the snake, I think of that eighth house. I think of transformation. I think of really making the unconscious conscious and doing that real deep integrative work. Very empowering. I also think of endings that lead to rebirth and new beginnings. And I feel like this is the doorway you're heading through right now. It's an initiatory gateway. You are going through what can feel like, on one level, a death, but it's the beginning of a bold new vision. It's the beginning of something new. And I do feel like there's a lot of nurturing for this vision, and it's going to feel really good to you, okay? Some of you may also find that during this time, it can be helpful for you to, actually get your hands in the dirt, maybe do a little gardening, all right? It could be very beneficial for you. I also feel like there's this piece coming in here of your water family showing up just to provide a lot of support for you while you're going through this transformation. Water spirit coming through as an ally, as well as your fire family. So I think of water, I think of fire, and I very much think of that like temperance energy. So you are in a process of alchemy. You may even be dealing with the Sagittarius. I feel like you're dealing with concepts of that Sagittarian house. So concepts related to travel, expansion, having a philosophical view of life, and also an optimistic view. Okay, maybe you're really going to be stepping more into allowing yourself to actually have the dream, have the vision, and believe that, you know what, I can make it happen. I can step into this. It's really beautiful. All right. Really beautiful. So there's something that's getting cooking here, okay? There's something that's getting cooking in the cauldron, and it brings something really nurturing in that nourishes your soul. It also brings you in a little bit of happiness, it lets that sun shine into your life. I feel like during the summer, you're really going to have a very positive turnaround, all right? This is when it really starts to take off and you start nurturing this new vision. It might get kicked off with some kind of trip, and possibly a trip by the water. I also encourage you, when you're in need of reflection or just getting yourself grounded, there's also that piece of, connecting with large bodies of water too. I feel can really help you just embrace the flow. I always think of the sky. You look up at the sky and it's so expansive, and it reminds me a lot of when you like look out over the ocean, or when you look out over the Great Lakes. If you've ever gotten to experience that, it's just this vast expanse of blue. Okay, so I feel like these are good reflecting points for you: the sky, the water. It helps to teach you a certain flow. And just like there's water flow, there's air flow. So I definitely feel like there's something here about not being so stuck. You're really learning how to be more adaptable, how to go with the flow, how to see yourself in new ways. And you're coming together with people that can also help facilitate this for you. And they're there to support you. They believe in you. They believe in your vision. Fire family, water family coming through very strongly here and coming together to make this possible. You could even be dealing with somebody that has strong fire and water in their chart. And I would say where you have fire and water in your chart, especially with Scorpio and Pisces, really relate to that energy. It will give you a lot of support, right? Also, we know with Pisces energy coming in here, that you are dealing with karma. You are sussing out what the hidden enemies are. And a lot of times when people think of hidden enemies, they think of something outside of themselves. But I think one thing that's often missed when we look at the astrological houses is that 12th house. Sometimes the hidden enemy is the places inside of ourselves that are unconscious, that we don't actually bring up into the light, where we can have a look at the ways that we sabotage ourselves or we hold ourselves back. And I feel like this is coming through really strongly for you. I feel like there's something you're meant to activate here. And it's very important that you don't let fear hold you back, or you don't tell yourself stories about why this is impossible for you. I think it's so important that you allow this to just flow. And as much as you can, just like maybe, maybe take down the dam for a minute. I know it's not your comfort zone. You're used to kind of shoring up that support and creating that little buffering space where you can stay safe. But there's something here about taking the risk, maybe to expose yourself to being a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more open, a little bit more willing to give yourself over the current of your life and where it's leading you. I think you'll find it so much more fulfilling. Yes, and I think that's where you're really needing the assistance right now, because you have gift of water, mirror, and it's in reverse. Okay, so I know this is something that needs your attention. 22 on the clock. The more that you can learn how to use your resistance to go with the flow, as a source of inner reflection and understanding, where is that blockage inside of me? Where are there dams in the river? Where am I holding back the energy when it really wants to flow forward and express itself? 22 on the clock. That's a serious building block for your future, and it brings you into alignment with everything you want. It's sort of like this message coming through that what you want wants you too, and the only thing that can hold it back is this need for having too much security and block the flow for you. All right, let's see if there's anything else that wants to come through with this, and then I'm going to do the cut of the deck, and we'll pull out some more cards for you and just see what wants to come in. I love working with this tarot, though, especially when doing these kind of reads, because it brings in all the elementals and it just feels very rootsy. So I really like this deck for diving into this energy. What else does Beaver need to know? I do feel like you're going to be in a very busy phase, so enjoy this little pause, to catch your breath. I feel like as you head into summer, things are really going to pick up. And it's going to be about you embracing a whole new flow than what you've been used to dealing with, currently, all right? But in order for you to receive the gift of water, which when I think of the gift of water, I think of nourishment, I think of receiving, I think of what supports our growth, what pours into us, I think of the emotions, okay? So there's something here that you need to really open yourself up to. And to me, it feels like relinquishing some control, moving out of that fixed hand position. A fixed hand is a losing hand. You can't hold on too tightly, because then this can't come in for you. And there is some source of reflection here. So I do encourage you, maybe spend some time by a body of water, connect with that element a bit. Use it as a time for a little meditation, reflection. I think it'll show you a lot, okay? Cancer season may be very significant for you coming up, right? So do look for, the month of July, things to start to really pick up for you. What we've got here. King of Earth, dog, okay? So this is about really understanding, too, what you're going to be loyal to, where your loyalties lie. And I do feel like you're coming into more harmony with that. You may have also learned where there was a lack of loyalty, maybe even in your circle of friends, in your community, in certain connections. And I do feel like you're in a process of letting some things go. So there's been a bit of sorting the wheat from the chaff, and I think you're really bringing in those people who truly do have loyalty to you. And I also feel like it's revolving around your ideals, what's important to you, what you want to invest in, and what you know is time to shed because maybe it doesn't have as much value as you thought it did, or maybe it was something you used as a crutch. And just bringing that piece in, this could be something that revolves around appearances, status, certain monetary pursuits, material pursuits that maybe they give you a certain kind of like level up or a false sense of security, but at what cost? There's something here about really looking at what you're loyal to on a more deeply intrinsic level. Like what is your soul loyal to here? And I feel like you're coming into alignment with people who recognize this in you and they're reflecting it back to you. Okay, so you are coming into contact with a new cast of characters and people that you really can have that camaraderie with, and you can allow yourself to let down your guard a bit more. Also, people who want to build this future with you, they're invested in it too, and it looks really good. Some of you may be getting a dog. You may be getting a new dog. It's possible that you had a dog and your dog passed and you've been kind of refraining from getting a dog, but I feel like there may be a special dog ally coming into your life. So that's kind of a sweet message there. Some of you really feel connected to animals even more so than you do people sometimes. And I do feel like there's some ally coming in here. For a lot of you, it's coming in through a dog, okay? And if you did lose a dog because it was their time to head over that rainbow bridge, I feel like their presence, their energy is still around you. And I think you can feel that. And this is sort of like a little nod of approval. I don't know if in that case you might have had a feeling like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to go and, go and get a dog. Like you almost feel like a little bit guilty. I think this is the nod of approval, like, yeah, it's time. And maybe they'll even show up. If you get a puppy, they may even show up in your new furry friend. Okay, so that's coming through for somebody. Bottom of the deck energy. Yeah, look at this. 8 of water bridge. And see, you are burning a bridge. So there's that south energy again about bringing in the fire of transformation, being prepared to shed skins where you need to shed skins, where you need to revamp your identity, where you need to reconsider your loyalties. I do believe that you're leaving behind an old way of life. And a lot of you are leaving behind certain people that you thought, were loyal to you and that you had loyalty to, but those loyalties are shifting now so you can actually come into alignment with your true path forward. It's your path of heart, and it's your path that activates your destiny here. Okay, got strong fire coming in here, fire family. Okay, so there's something here. You may be leaving behind some fire signs. It's possible. Maybe at one point, you felt a lot of closeness there. It says fire daughter. All right. You may be leaving behind interesting. Got an interesting message with that, with fire daughter. It's almost like leaving behind the need to have others sort of like hold the fire for you. Like I'm seeing daughter as being more of like a following kind of role. And I feel like you're supposed to shift this energy actually, and you're meant to bring your fire more forward. Even if you're like, hey, I don't have any fire in my chart. No, we all have intrinsic fire in us. And when we're looking at it from a zodiac perspective, even if you don't have any fire signs in your chart, you still have the house of those fire signs in your makeup. So you have transits, you have everything always moving planetarily. So you always got fire there somewhere, okay? And I feel like you're not supposed to allow others to sort of take the lead in that regard. This is about you bringing your fire forward and not playing that more sort of like submissive role or needing to follow, but actually you taking the lead and doing it your own way. And for some of you, this is in relation to a particular career direction that you want to head in. You got an idea you want to pursue. Maybe it's different. Maybe other people don't necessarily agree with this. Maybe it is something a little innovative, and that's why it makes you nervous, especially because it doesn't necessarily have the stamp of approval from everybody else around you. But I feel like it's really important for you to just trust this inspiration. If it's lighting you up, if it's making you feel passionate, you know, if it's igniting that inner fire, use it to blaze a trail, okay? Burn the bridges you need to burn, you know. Sometimes you do need to burn some bridges, okay? Especially if they're people that are having a really negative impact on you, or people that don't really want to see you step into that light, step into your ambition, okay? You're going to know where you need to release those ties. But I also feel like don't use that fire to just burn away. Also use that fire to blaze a trail. I think you're meant to. And again, there's the 8 energy, okay? So I love that because you opened up with 8 sky, right? Father sky, right? Mother earth, okay? So there's something you are really meant to root in material reality. There's a vision that's awakening in you, and there's something really tangible that you're going to root in your day-to-day reality. You're going to live the vision. You're going to live the dream. I see that. You're actually going to actualize it. And it says trade here, but it's interesting. I feel like it's almost like trading one way of life for a whole new view, a whole new way of living your life, and a whole different perspective will emerge in you as a result of that. And I think it opens up your mind to new possibilities, new relationships, new ways of seeing things. For some of you, it may even lead to a new line of work or an entirely new living environment. You may make a major move, okay? You may move out of a community where you've spent most of your life and head off into a brand new direction, all right? Very interesting. Some of you are getting into some kind of trade business too. I got like world trade. So maybe you're doing like traveling and you're heading to different like world markets and exploring goods, and you're bringing in this sort of like cross-cultural piece for some of you in the work that you're doing. It's interesting. You might be getting into some kind of commerce, all right, in relation to this. All right, any final clues from this deck before I pull out another for Beaver? And what's coming up in their solar return? Wow, okay, everything came out with that. Okay, maybe that's something that excites you, or maybe somehow travel is connected to this work. What do we got here? We got a lot that came out here. We have Queen of Fire, Yoni, okay, with the Joker of Fire, cross. Wild card energy here. I do feel like there's somebody that you have a lot of passion for, all right, a lot of chemistry with. They ignite your fire. This is also your creative fire that's really birthing here. I do feel like you feel like somebody is heaven sent. You got sky angel here. You feel guided in a particular direction. Queen of Sky, unity, okay? So there is somebody here that you're wanting to really connect with. And I feel like on a sensual level, there's passion here, all right? And this person is a little bit of a wild card, all right? I think this person is very outside of the box. And Ted just said yes on that. Like this person lives very different from you. Like they take risks. They kind of go with the flow. They act in the moment. And maybe you've been at the crossroads with this person for a while. You've been kind of scared to take this leap and give yourself over to this because you're just kind of not sure what will happen. But at the same time, I see, you got, angels looking out for you here. And again, this is a change that needs to come in for you. There could be an air sign energy factoring into this situation too with Queen of Sky. We got Queen of Sky, Queen of Fire, okay, coming in here. And we also got Brother Sky, okay? So a lot of air sign energy around you. I feel like, there's a little fuel to your fire coming in here with air, okay? So maybe air signs can really help inspire some creative ideas. You might be partnering with an air sign, but I also feel like this is the battle between, your head and your heart, okay? Especially in terms of romantic interest, right? You might tell yourself, I shouldn't do this, and give yourself all the logical reasons why you shouldn't head in a direction that you feel very passionate about. And I feel like it has something to do with a particular someone, okay? We got Sky family here, brother Sky coming in now, all right? So, yeah, and it's interesting. Big Libra energy. I just noted here that Brother Sky has a raven in their hand. Okay, so this could have something to do with a Libra. This could have to do with something you need to balance out karmically. Could be a bit of South Node work since Libra's in the South Node. Maybe this is what you're transforming so you can actually head into a direction where your passion's really lit up. I feel like it has to do with coming together with somebody that you're very attracted to. Okay. This is something that you're rooting in material reality for sure. It's an earth matter, okay, with earth family here. And I do feel like, time's ticking on this. There's coordinating. A lot of months have passed here with bringing this in. But what I am noticing here is I see July, kind of off in the distance, and that already came in for you. So I feel like July is when you actually root this connection, but it might require you to transform a relationship in order to follow your passion, right? You may need to leave behind somebody, burn a bridge with somebody, or you may know that if I head in this direction, if I follow my passion, if I come together with this person that I feel this sensual connection with, it requires that I burn a bridge with somebody else. And that might be why you've been in two minds about it. I do feel like you've considered the practicalities of this for a long time. Life path number 3 may be very significant in this, okay? I'm also looking at that 3 energy there. It's making me think of the month of March, okay? So you could be dealing with a Pisces in regard to this. You could also be dealing with an Aries in regard to this. I feel like something's been put off, a plan's been put off for a long time now. It keeps getting pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. And I feel like it's up to you, are you really going to go for what you know is in alignment with you? Okay, it was 38:11 on the clock. That's 11:11. And it's sort of like angels on deck. They're telling you, look, you want this, like you got the vote of approval. If this is what you want to go for, you can bring this into alignment, but you're not going to be able to like stay in your safe space in order to do that. Okay, I feel this. Yeah, this is you acting upon your truth and really bringing your fire forward. You got high ace of sky with high ace of fire here. This is fuel for your fire, but it requires that you stand in your truth, what you know is true for you, and you merge that energy with fire, and you actually take the action and you act on what you know is true for you and what you know you want to come into alignment with here. This will be like your salvation. I'm telling you, your struggle is related to keeping yourself in this place where you're feeling pulled between your passions, your true desire, and what you feel is logical or reasonable. And you are being asked to kind of like, you got to like step outside the box to really actualize this vision. Okay. So I feel like there's something here where if you jump into this and you just go for it, you're going to find it's really just such a source of fulfillment for you. It's going to feel a bit like getting saved at the 11th hour. It's almost like putting it off and considering this too much is disrupting the spontaneous action that wants to happen here. It's actually what's causing a lot of the struggle for you. All right. So, angels on the outfield, Call in that support, you know, to give you strength in taking this leap. Look, there's something here that does need to come to an end in order for you to actualize this union, what you're wanting to come together with. What you want wants you. I see this. It makes me think of Scorpio energy very strongly. There's something you need to transform here. If you want to bring in this new energy into your life, there does need to be closure here with death, okay? Cut of the deck energy here. Let's see what we got. But if you do, I'm telling you, new beginning, blessed beginning, big harvest will come in for you. Everything starts to flow. There's nourishment here. There's prosperity here. And this is, you know, this is the leap you got to take, man. And look at that. We got earth, home coming in there. Okay. So this is finding that place where you belong. It's finding your sense of home. All right. It has everything to do with bringing your fire forward, all right? It will light the way, but you really got to get in touch with what you feel passionate about here, okay, Beaver? So, you know, yes, plan, but plan the leap. Plan the leap. Put a deadline on your leap. That's interesting, okay? If you know this is what you really want, if this is the new beginning, you truly want a birth, then I think it's really important that you just, you know, set a date. Set a date. Put it on your calendar, you know, and maybe even set an alert, a reminder about it so you know, I have to take the action by this date, you know. That can be a way that you can get your, you know, sort of like your strategy and your need to have a plan and everything to kind of like tick all the boxes, you know, to work with your fire a little bit here. Yeah, look at this. Bottom of the deck energy, heaven sent, 33, okay? You might have, you know, some angels orchestrating a bit of synchronicity here for you. I do feel like you got some heavenly help as well, pulling some strings for you, trying to point you in the right direction. And I do feel like there is something here that is heaven sent. It's this vision. And you're not meant to just sort of like nurse the vision. You're meant to live the vision, all right? So don't hold yourself back. We're going to look at this Sacred Rebels Oracle here and see what comes in for Beaver in their year of solar return here. What's coming up for them? What do they need to know in order to really hit the mark and take advantage of all the blessing and bounty on offer? It looks like a new community of people. It looks like possibly a new home. It looks like prosperity and really living the dream instead of just staying in your head about it and feeling like you can't act on it because of certain rules you have in place, or you're too worried about, you know, jumping into it. You're too self-protective. I feel like this is something that you've got to like kind of like open up to the experience, and you do have to bring your walls down, or else you're going to stay in that place of conflict. Right? So just trust, okay? Trust what your heart's telling you. Follow your fire. You need to follow your fire and blaze that trail and burn the bridges of, you know, things that only lead to disappointment, things that lead to destructive influences in your life. You know, it's time to really experience a higher rung of the spiral, Taurus, right? And activate these dreams that you have and live them. You know, that's a real shame when we have an inspired vision, but we don't ever allow ourselves to truly live it. Okay. Some of you may have a creative vision. You know, there might be something you're working on creatively, but you've been a bit reticent to share it. You know, maybe it's time to share it. Maybe it's time to go to an open mic, or maybe it's time to actually write that book. Or maybe it's time to have an art gallery opening and share what you've created. 44 on the clock there. Okay, so some of you are holding back your creativity because you're too worried about how it will be received, or maybe you're measuring it up to another's creative body of work. This is your creativity, all right? And I think that if you do allow yourself to pursue this, you're going to experience a lot of growth. I do think that it can even be a route to abundance for you, all right? So don't box yourself in, right? Everything is about expansion for you, right? Unfamiliar territory, but I think it's good. I think this looks really positive for you. Once you get to the other side of the letting go, and I know that's rough when you're dealing with, you know, questioning loyalties and having to, you know, really release yourself from familiarity and step into the new. It's challenging, but it's what brings everything your way in this next trip around the sun, okay? All right, let's see what's coming in here for you. Yes. Have faith in the process. I know you don't see it right now. You don't know how it'll turn out. You may be sending up a lot of prayers. Your prayers are being answered, and they're being answered in the form of that fire burning in your heart, that thing that excites you and it's filling you with a sense of enthusiasm and purpose. So stop talking yourself out of it. A little birdie told you you might get visited by birds, sparrows, you know, might come around you, you know, just as messengers, all right, to encourage you to move forward here. There might be a very young part of you that's getting activated with this, where it just really feels like, you know, it doesn't feel safe to sort of like leave the nest in this regard, all right? But I think you really need to trust that a change is necessary, and there will be help and support in making this change. You won't regret it. All right, what other guidance do we have here for Beaver in their solar return? All right, really sounds like you're changing your life, like on a major level with this solar return, which I think is cool. Although, you know, I'm not an earth sign, so that's probably why I feel like that, you know. I tend to have a lot of air and fire in my charts. I'm like, yeah, go for it. You know, anything can happen. All right. So maybe take some cues from the air and fire around you, you know, sort of grok their energy a little bit, pull it out of your chart a little bit, you know, rely on those friends, you know, your air signs and your fire signs to kind of like boost you a little bit, encourage you a little bit, you know. Just try it on for size, role play it a little bit. And if you do have fire or air in your chart, you know, bring it forward. Let yourself play the air sign. Let yourself play the fire sign a little bit more. It'll help you, okay? It'll help you in making these changes. I do feel that by July, something is really moving forward here, and you won't regret it. It looks really good for you, okay? Let's see. What does Beaver need to know as they step into actualizing this grand vision? What awaits them if they trust and they take the leap and they let their heart and their passions and their willingness to be a little bit daring? What will it bring them? What do they need to know about this, Spirit? Okay, something in reverse here. Oh, see, look at this. You're letting fear hold you back. This is the way that you're deceiving yourself. You're kind of telling yourself that it's not worth defending because you know how it's going to turn out. It's not going to work out. You're going to end up being disappointed, you know. And it's a bunch of BS. Do you see here? 23, all right? You're meant to affect change in your life. And I feel this is also speaking of you're kind of in this place where you're diving really deep in the shadow. And that's helpful to a certain extent. We do need to understand our subconscious motivations. We can't ignore the pain that we've experienced. Sometimes in the letting go, we need a little bit more time to grieve and to process. But I feel like there's something here that's awakening in you that's really important to you, and you're meant to defend it. It says here, defend to the end the worthwhile. And so maybe this is what you need to sit with a little bit, okay? Maybe that's what's needing a little reflection. Remember that piece came in about what are you going to be loyal to. It's possible that you've been loyal to some things that have been disloyal to you. And maybe you've continually gone back there trying to like refresh this thing, revive this thing, continue to prove, you know, that it's worth investing in to yourself, because you feel like I already invested so much, like to let it go at this point just feels like a terrible loss. But there's something here that's letting you know that, you know, some things are meant to be shed. They are meant to be released. And that's because something's awakening in you that you are meant to come into alignment with. And this is something that you can defend to the end, right? So I think you have a little bit more of this work to do. 50-50 just came up on the clock. Again, I feel like what you're battling with right now is a battle of wills between the head and the heart. And there's a Sioux saying that says, the longest journey you will ever make is the one from your head to your heart. And that's the bridge you need to cross, okay? I feel like that is, I love how that came in. I feel like that is the bridge that you need to cross. You know, you need to get out of your head and the stories you tell yourself and the fears you're nurturing. Like, I almost feel like right now that's what you're defending. You're defending your fears. You're defending the reasons why you shouldn't take a particular leap, why you shouldn't follow your heart, why you shouldn't go with your passion. And that's what's really holding you back. And as you continue to do this, you're staying stuck in the South Node when you're really meant to just, you know, be very brave and trust where you're being guided now. And though it may be unknown and you may not be sure how it will turn out, you have wisdom of what you've been through. You can trust yourself. And this is also about, you got sight that can help you see through the dark to get to the other side here. You do have wisdom that you can connect with. And it looks like you also have support here. Okay, so this is worth defending. Don't call it quits just because you're afraid. All right, it's time to really stand up and represent this. You know, take your time to get yourself prepared. There was that breath piece that came in. We have restore and replenish here. There's also the need for grounding. Okay, so I do think you need to kind of prepare yourself for taking this leap. So, you know, maybe like I was saying, just like set a notification, all right, on this date, I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to follow it through. And look at that on the other side, legacy of light. And there's the 7 energy, July, okay? July, I feel like, is a really magical month for you. Something's going to pop off there. A Cancer could be involved with this. Doesn't necessarily have to be. There could be a mother that's connected to this in some way. I think of that Cancer energy. I also think of home, okay? So there could be a big shift happening in the home at that time. But this is what's going to build that light and that happiness in your life. You got full blessing of your ancestors around this, okay? And there's also, could be for some of you, a child piece, okay? This just coming in. All right, what's behind this? New birth, guarded vigilantly. Look at that. And the transformation with the butterfly energy there. Okay, butterfly clan could be connected with this. That's all the air sign energy. So there might be some kind of cue here you need to follow. Like there might be something coming in here that provides transformation and it's connected to an air sign energy. But I see this. You're going to be taking the steps and you're going to take that dream and you're going to bring it into form. I see you moving forward with this in July, and it's a beautiful thing. So trust the vision. It leads you to everything you want, and what you want wants you. Blessings.